Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday. Brandon's like, what the? It's Thursday. Welcome to the Knockem Comedy Show. Thanks for joining us. We're right here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. You see the graphic right there. Oh, and there's a fly. Please share the link to this show all over your social medias. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. It's Thursday. Brandon's here. You know, I would tell you that you see the phone number right above my head, so please call and say hello. However, the phones aren't working.
Oh, shucks.
I don't know why. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to remove that graphic. Gone. Done. There it is. Gone. Yeah, sorry about that. Phones aren't working today. So we'll just have to be reading comments. Or you call Brandon's cell phone. You want to give him their number? Go ahead.
No.
So, all sorts of stuff planned for today's show.
Nice.
But now they're not happening.
Yeah, unfortunately. We had friend of mine, Rodney Jr., wasn't able to make it as a guest.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you know guys like him.
Comedians?
wrestling fans.
Wrestling fans. What does that mean?
Nothing. Him and I, we both have jokes that involve him being a fan of pro wrestling, and I have jokes about me distinctly not being a fan of pro wrestling. And it's always fun. You know, like if I'm like hosting a show, like I'll make sure to slide in a joke, between comics before he goes up,
right?
For him to like riff off me, or I'll riff off him. It's a fun time. So I thought that was a funny way. You a little bait and switch there.
You always speak very intelligently, distinctly, and not. So do you mean you just don't follow it, or do you mean you actually like really hate it?
No, hate's a strong word. I actually love what it's about. I love that it's like the last vestige of like real theater.
Oh.
Broadway fans might get pissed, but like,
right.
I don't know. I feel like
correct.
There's a different cool type of theater going on with pro wrestling where like these big muscly dudes pretend, and all these stories that goes on for decades. If you kill that, you got to eat it as part of Tony Eats stuff. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm glad I missed him.
Yeah, me too. But I just could never get into it personally.
Yeah, me neither.
Like as a kid, it never grabbed me.
Nope.
But that's actually kind of like, I won't get into the jokes, but my jokes on the matter are how like most people in my demographic, we tended to pick between wrestling or anime.
Oh, okay.
And then they're both very similar. And
do you know who Mookie Wilson is?
No.
Mookie Wilson, one of the most famous New York Mets of all time.
That's why I don't know.
I
follow good teams.
There aren't really any in New York right now.
No, you're right.
I interviewed him the other day, and he. Nice. I had read somewhere that he's a fan of cartoons.
Sweet.
So I started talking about like things like Bugs Bunny and stuff, and he's looking at me funny. I go, "You're a cartoon fan?" He goes, "No," and he mentioned something I never even heard of. Dondor? No? You don't know what that is either? I thought for sure you would know what he was talking about.
Dondor. Are you sure it's that?
No. But it sounded like that.
You might have to...
You don't even know what it could be?
Yeah, get the real thing
right.
and I'll see. But yeah, it's not ringing any bells.
But I thought of you because then he said the Avengers, and like he started really getting into like the superhero aspect of animation. What I thought for sure Dondor must have been some kind of animation anime.
It's not ringing the bell.
Any of you guys know what we're talking about? I had no idea.
Yeah, write in if you know what Tony means by Dondor.
We're
gonna switch one letter, and I'm gonna be like, oh.
Is it Gongor? So all right. So the story that. So we were supposed to have Noel Rodney Jr. on. All I know is I got a text from you 9:10 this morning saying Rodney canceled.
Yeah.
Noel canceled. Excuse me. Now, is it that he canceled last minute, or like who am I motherfucking this morning? Him?
No, it was all me.
You knew about this like 3 days ago or something?
No, I knew about it yesterday.
So he must have went on social media last night and saw his picture all over all his stuff. He'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Oh yeah.
Did he call you up and say, "I told you"?
No, I saw your. I was tagged in a Gov's radio post, and I was like, "Oh fuck."
Now what is his reasoning? I want to know why he's not here.
I think work just wouldn't let him go.
Do you know what he does for work?
I don't. I'm a bad friend.
I want to know who I got to yell at around here.
It's me. It's always me.
No, well, I mean, all right, you forgot it was yesterday. That's fine, but I mean, he's been planned for almost a week.
Yeah.
So I mean, could be his boss I have to yell at.
Like I said, guys like him.
Yes, I do.
Wrestling fans.
All right, so now the other thing, the Tony Eats Crap Thursdays. You did not bring anything in with you today.
I did not, and
were you just running late, or you're just tired of it? What?
No, I want to bring things with purpose. I feel like every time I bring a piece of food that is like a last minute pick, it doesn't hit right. It doesn't. That's part of it. I think is the thoughtfulness. And listen, I know you all out there are fans, So I don't know, man. I think we really need to make it some sort of poll, some sort of. I want people recommending food because I only have so much of a creative bandwidth.
He's on the headphones.
It's okay. It's okay. Remember, you have to eat them.
I know.
If you kill them.
I might just sacrifice. I might just do it if I get them because I can't stand when flies are in here. But I'm going to disagree, though. I think everything you've brought in has had quite an effect.
The buttered bagel episode keeps me up at night, dude. I let you get off way too easy on that one.
All right, but I think I deserved a gimme 1 week.
No.
I've been eating a lot of stuff.
And you're catching up to the rest of us, man. That's good.
This thing is killing you, isn't it? You keep looking up.
No, actually, that's only because you mentioned Andy's beautiful face did I now see it again.
I have this. I show it almost every show. Andy will be back tomorrow. We were not on last Friday. Andy will be here. Our guests are Benny Rizzuti and Jen Snortland. They're doing a show in the Giggle Room next weekend, not this coming weekend.
Nice.
Sure.
I'm actually, I have to apologize to the governor's ether. I was invited to run an open mic style thing on Saturday, but I had to respectfully decline.
Ooh. All right, tell me about this. So, what, governors contacted you?
Yeah, they...
When?
Well, they know I'm trying to get more of these... I'm going to let that ride.
Right.
More of these broken mics in here. And I'd gotten an email from them. The next one's September 21st. So you got a long time to prepare and sign up, folks.
Nice.
But then after that, and after I was like, yeah, but can we get more? They were like, well, how about this Saturday? And I was like, got plans with, Haley and her family. Got to be a good...
a family thing.
Can't flake, can't...
So, would Haley get mad at you?
It's like very, very, very expensive tickets.
Oh, okay. That's
we're
different.
generously One was generously slid my way to be a part of the festivities.
It sucks though to have to turn the gig down like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
I hate when that happens.
Hey, as long as it doesn't blacklist me, we're good.
Well, absolutely right. And they were cool about it?
I don't know.
I wonder...
yeah. They emailed me back and were like, whatever.
I wonder who did it, because I didn't even hear about an open mic on Saturday.
I know, because I had to say no. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, maybe they're like, it's all Brandon or nothing.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that if that's the case.
I sure hope that's the case.
Yeah.
This is... Richie Byrne broke the armrest on that chair.
The funny part is, if you look at just the bottom, it's like you're holding a graphing calculator from the back.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. That's funny.
And then you're like, there's no screen, just a very hard metal nipple.
So you're like, you need a second? You're like, whose line is it anyway, where you take objects and make them something else?
I do love that show.
Oh,
I grew up, I would skip school just to watch The Price is Right and Whose Line.
Really?
I love that shit. And then I would stay up really way too late for a middle schooler / high schooler and watch The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. That was my shit. I still gotta check back and watch clips of that sometime. It was the funniest show on TV.
Ferguson was great.
It was amazing. It was it was the perfect blend of an actual late show and Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That's a good description.
If there are any viewers out there under the age of 30, I'm sorry, that was a little mean. If you haven't seen Craig Ferguson but you're familiar with Eric Andre, there's definitely a Pokemon evolution progression there, where it went from being a silly talk show to being the silliest you could be while still being a talk show, and then if you transcend that, then you get Eric Andre. So seeing the I don't know.
Well, all right. So that is my question. Who is there? I don't know who that is.
Oh man, you got to check out.
Is he the Late Late Show now?
No, man. What a crazy thing to say.
I'm sorry.
So Eric Andre is a comedian who started a late night talk show. Yes. Are you familiar with Adult Swim?
Yes.
It's Adult Swim's late night talk show.
Oh.
So it's really not a late night talk show. That is what it masquerades as. He has the desk, he has guests, he has a sidekick, but like, I almost don't want to like ruin the show by explaining what it really is, but it really is just an excuse to torture the guests.
So, like a parody.
Almost.
Okay.
So I mean, like the gimmicks that he does with the desk are crazy. The desk will open up and then have a little person version of Eric and the guest inside the desk.
Oh.
Sometimes the chair the guest is sitting in will have like someone inside touching the person's like butt and gooch to fuck with them. Apparently, like there's stories that the studio is like 110 degrees just to make them very uncomfortable.
Oh wow.
And they do these long, crazy long, torturous interviews, and then it's like edited down to like a 2-minute segment.
This is very Adult Swimish.
Dude,
Yeah.
it is, but it is so good. And the best part is like the early seasons, like the guests are just very blatantly, obviously not who they say they are. And then as
really?
time goes on, they get the real guests, and it's like,
okay.
and then
That's
you know,
funny.
it's my understanding that the longer the show's gone on, the more difficult it's like been to bamboozle the guests because they're aware of the show or they're friends
Right.
with Eric. So like one of my favorite episodes is he has Jack Black on, and him and Eric are like friends. So he had to really dial it up to mess with Jack Black,
Right.
and he ends up like using like electric shock stuff on him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And then he does like these man on the street segments.
I love man on the street stuff.
Yeah, me too. It's fun.
Love it.
It's very fun.
No matter who's doing it, love it.
But yeah, no, if any of you out there have not seen the Eric Andre show, it streams mostly for free, I think, on Adult Swim's website, or, get a lot of clips on YouTube. It's very funny.
I'm actually wondering now, who did replace Craig Ferguson? Oh, James Corden. That's right.
Why would you say his name?
Yeah,
out loud?
I was not a fan.
What a stinker.
And except for I like the carpool karaoke, but even that he bastardized it.
There we go.
Thank you.
Third time's a charm.
Thank you.
No, I generally don't like just punching up at people because they're successful, and I'm here doing this. No, but like he's like one of the few where I'm just like,
Yeah.
what did you do to get
Yep.
these things?
I'm with you.
Like shutting down traffic in LA so you can dance in the crosswalks. Go fuck yourself. Like, I just can't. I can't do it.
But all right, so I'll rephrase my question. Who's replacing him? Have they announced? I haven't heard.
No,
I haven't heard
put my
anything.
ear to the ground.
Maybe they'll take this show and put it.
It's me.
Oh, that would be cool.
I'd love it. I would do my own thing with it, but I'd bring it back to the Ferguson days. I'd just make it because it's like it's 1 a.m.
Right.
People are either children that should be going to bed or intoxicated adults. Think of the demographic. That's what we need.
But it was Letterman that set that tone. Letterman was a genius in his day.
Well, I'm sure relative to what came before him, he was like kind of silly and off the wall.
Oh, he was completely off when he was doing the Late Show after Carson. Yeah, he was completely off the wall.
Okay.
Completely.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I have no experience with that era of Letterman, but like I liked Letterman as a kid and growing up.
You knew Letterman when he was a kid?
When I was a kid.
I know, I was just being stupid.
This fucking guy. No, I did, but it definitely was the more straight.
Yeah, because that was the Late Show at that point. And
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely more commercial and a little more normal. Where his
I gotta check it out because that's my lane. I love that.
stupid human tricks, stupid pet tricks. I mean, it even might seem cliche now, but he was one of the first doer. He would, sit at a drive-through, as the operator, and take people's orders, and he'd be like, people would, he'd be in a McDonald's, people would ask for burgers. I'm sorry, we're out of burgers, and see the reaction.
Watch Tony break down in his car
cry.
and drive through, just be like, "What the fuck am I gonna eat now?"
He would actually say to people, "Look, I'm a little short on cash. Can you order me a burger for my lunch break?"
That's funny.
Shit like that. Yeah, he was the best. Wow, we did that at unison.
Did we? I think we're hitting our stride, man. We're in sync right now.
That's right. We're like
We used to be
synchronized
Backstreet
swimming.
Boys, but now we're in sync.
Yeah, so Richie Byrne broke this, but he's allowed because he recorded his show here the other day, and they had Rob Bartlett, who is do you know who that is? You got to know your history. Damn it, Brandon LaCarrubba.
Goddamn youngsters.
Rob Bartlett used to work. He was a comedian. Well, he still is, but he was a comedian back in the late 70s, early 80s. Came up with Jackie the Joke Man, Bob Nelson, Eddie Murphy. They all used to work together and do improv shows. Adam Ferrara, Joey Cola. And they used to jump, they used to just, they would all do stand-up, but they would also jump up and do like improv and create situations and just do like made-up bits on the spot. You don't see that anymore.
No.
Oh, it's so much fun. And I saw these guys when I was in my teens. And so that was their guest, and I recorded it on here, and the audio did not come out, but I didn't know until after it was done.
Bummer.
Yeah, so
I've been there.
So Richie Byrne is allowed to break stuff. Rob Bartlett himself actually emailed me yesterday. I thank him. He emailed me and said, "Hey, bro, don't worry about it. We'll just do it again." And he said he'll be funnier, but he has no guarantees for Byrne and Riccadonna. So yeah, felt bad. But
you can't guarantee funny.
Well, true. That is true.
As much as we all wanna.
And all right, so
everyone's gonna think I'm playing with my dick. I'm playing with my wallet. I promise.
Because it's so just like your dick. It's so thick.
Well, yeah, but
what are you doing?
I got an emergency. No, I got an emergency request.
An emergency request
to make sure I didn't have someone else's card. And,
what? It just came on your phone just now?
Yeah, I keep that shit on silent. But then I got. My parents are up there in age. I like being available to them, and I don't have,
nice
a little bit. But then it looks like I'm playing with my dick on radio, and it's like, if I'm going to play with my dick on radio, we need more viewers.
Well, it could go viral after the fact.
It better.
So, do you have the card? Is everything all right?
I don't.
So that's a good thing.
Because that means unaccounted for.
Still unaccounted for, but at least they know you're not holding it.
Yeah, no.
So that means
I'm
it's
off
still
the hook.
So yeah, it means it's still laying around the house somewhere, and they can hopefully find it.
Hopefully.
But you also said emergency. Like, is everything all right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Just want to make sure.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Speaking of the other shows, our apologies. Circling the Drain was not on last night. They recorded the show. They had all sorts of issues. So yeah, and I even had to jump in here for a little while to try to help things out. But so they ended up recording this show. We'll play it. We'll play it tonight, probably 7-ish. Donversations tomorrow night. The one and only Tom Kelly is Don's guest this week. Tom has been in here many times. He's a former neighbor of mine. Funny guy, good guy. So that'll be fun. And you, my friend, are recording a Donversations tonight.
I am. So does he do them in here and on Zoom?
He only does them on Zoom.
Oh, gotcha. So it has nothing to do with...
He just records them and then Govs plays them.
Understood.
Yeah. And then he also does Don's Random Questions, DRQs, which that's just like 2 minutes where he's going to ask you random questions.
I like that.
And then he posts that himself.
Keep me on my toes.
Yeah. Don is great. He posted this video yesterday. I laughed my ass off. He was cooking eggs. Either that or somebody else maybe he's been doing this thing. Like, you see that video of that woman on the airline? That motherfucker's crazy. You got to throw him off this plane.
Oh, saying he's not a real person?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So I don't know what the story is behind that, but Don posted that video, but then he edited himself into it. Because there's at one point in the video where the woman's pointing, he's not a real person, and you see all the passengers on the plane turn to look. Yeah. So Don edited himself with a plain background, and he's like, me? What the fuck? Stuff like, and he's been doing videos like that. So I don't know. Maybe that's what this was. There was some kind of video of eggs, somebody cooking eggs, and you had the two yolks. So you had the circle, right? You had the two orange yolks, and they're right next to each other. And then down here, there was just like a little hole, and it was moving like lips would be. So, and then somebody overdubbed some rap lyrics onto it, so it looked like, and it was funny. But Don then, was adding like, I'm trying to cook, but the eggs are rapping, and then he starts dancing and stuff. It's funny. Andy Plagenos, that egg video has been around for a while. Oh, okay. Thank you, Andy. So Don just put himself into it. Okay. Yeah, I'd never seen it before. I thought maybe he was really cooking, and he was like, oh, let me record that. I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, that's cool. You're recording that tonight. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
And that'll. My guess is that's probably going to be next Friday's episode.
Sweet. Yeah. Go watch that in the future. It'll be there.
Andrew Fremder, DJ Egg Love. Yeah, gee, that's one positive of today, that the phones aren't working. Yeah, I don't know what it says, not connected. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I got to check that out. Yeah, so Circling the Drain we'll have on tonight. We also have some other new shows coming your way here. We have, My True Crime Obsession.
Another true crime show.
We have, we're going to have one here.
Yeah.
Let me move that over so we can see you. My True Crime Obsession with Christine Dana. She follows all sorts of cases. And she's going to start her own show next Thursday. Next Thursday, we'll be posting more information about that, so I don't remember off the top of my head what time. But this Tuesday, Primal Scream with Nick Greystone. That's this Tuesday. I believe it's 9 o'clock.
Looks like an evil Guy Fieri.
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Welcome to Pain Town.
Nick gained a little notoriety, I guess. He when the Gilgo thing, when the Gilgo killer was arrested, Nick was in that guy's neighborhood, and he got interviewed by some news reporters, and he's talking about the murder with a Texas Chainsaw Massacre hat on. So people thought that was great. So he kind of went viral. He too likes to follow a bunch of crime stories, but there's more than that. He's also a musician. He does some acting. So he's going to cover a bunch of topics as well. I believe he's even going to be guesting on My True Crime Obsession, maybe on the first show, maybe? I forget now, but I know he's guesting on that soon. So those are two new shows coming your way next week. Primal Scream is Tuesday. My True Crime Obsession is next Thursday. So that'll be good. And, of course, hopefully at 1 o'clock today we got Treading Water. I don't know what's been going on every week. For whatever reason, I can't seem to live stream their show. So if it's not on at 1 o'clock, it'll come right on at like 2:15, 2:30, because we'll just record it. So, all right, so I covered that, but I'll cover that again. All right, so I'll do that. All right, so the big story going around our neck of the woods.
Going around town.
Very, very cheerful story. Smithtown, New York, which was east of us, about maybe half hour, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
A toddler died after she was left in a hot Jeep for 8 hours Monday afternoon. A 54-year-old woman had her 14-month-old granddaughter in the car. She forgot the kid was in there, so she went to work. Totally forgot she had her granddaughter in the back. She was supposed to take her to her daycare, but instead she just went to work.
Dude, I knew something was going on with Smithtown, but I don't know. Usually I hear Smithtown, and I'm like, somebody spray painted the bull's dick. And,
this woman
very sad.
She spent the whole day at work. It never dawned on her. She leaves work that day, gets in the car, thinking to herself, "Oh, I got to stop at daycare to pick up my granddaughter on the way home."
Tony, real quick, I'm going to do you a favor. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a year younger than this lady. She's
okay. All right. So 54 and up, so we could just kill them all, and then we'll leave you and younger.
Yeah. I'm the first. I'll agree with you. We have no purpose.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to spare the 53 and youngers.
Well, I don't have grandkids yet.
Okay.
So does that buy me more time? Because I can't forget about a grandkid if I don't have one. So.
No, I don't think it's even a matter of the grandkids, man. I think it's like something about just like folks on the road. Just like, and this is obviously is a whole different thing involving the kids, but like I feel like I've been in so many near miss situations lately, and it's always with someone that is like clearly like 55 and up, likely on some sort of medication because they're just making very erratic and crazy decisions. Usually it involves driving very slowly and like you're kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't want to seem like an ageist piece of shit, but you know what I'm like a big proponent of?
No.
I think we should have to take like a legitimately hard road test every 10 years.
Legitimately hard or not can be debated, but
right.
I agree. Every 10 years, we should all have to renew our licenses.
And
I agree.
Anybody out there that makes the argument that is inherently ageist, you're a piece of shit because people die. We're controlling multi-ton hunks of metal, and regardless of if it's because of age, if it's because of like legitimate mental illness or substance abuse.
Right, it's not really an ageist thing. I mean,
but that's how it's always spun. Those are the people that keep the laws very loose, so you don't need to take a road test because they make that argument that it's like, you're basically telling old people that they can't drive, and it's like
the first 10-year renewal, you'd be 28 years old. So it's not an ageist thing.
Absolutely, but that's like, again, the argument is that like, well, who does that affect the most? And theoretically, it's
too bad.
Exactly, yeah, it's just life. Like we don't want. You know who did where I started thinking along these lines? South Park has an amazing episode on elderly drivers.
Oh, really?
Very, very funny, very poignant, as a lot of their good episodes tend to be. But it really is. It feels like a real thing where it's just like. Of course, you get bad drivers of every demographic. That's just how people work. But in my anecdotal experience, I just can't take it, man. It's just very stressful getting around, especially Long Island. It's basically a retirement home in the island.
Excuse me. I am going to agree with you. However, just yesterday? I forget what the guy did. But I did one of those things where I finally got around him. He was either going he was going very slow, but there was more to it. And I can't remember what it was, but I do remember finally getting around him and not giving him the Maloika or giving him an evil look, but just looking to see who this
you got to see the stupid.
Yeah, you got to see who's responsible. And I'm telling you, this guy was younger than you, and it's killing me because I can't remember what exactly he did. But I've noticed that there's definitely, I don't think it's an age thing, and I don't. It probably does get worse as you get older because of response time and whatnot. But it's not limited to that. People of all ages, like you said,
we should have to re-up. We should.
Yeah, I agree.
Be a thing to maintain at least a little bit of sanity and road safety.
Well,
but back to this lady, like how do you? She had to be fucked up on something.
I wonder the same thing. How do you forget? I mean, if the kid is sleeping or something, maybe. But I try to play the devil's advocate. I try to be understanding and not be judgmental. But it's your grandkid. When it's your kid, your grandkid. Like there is no room for excuse. In fact, I've said that since my kids were born. Every time I had a fight with the school or something over something that happened to my kids, I've always said it. You don't get a second chance with my kid. Like, I'm not going to wait for my kid to get hurt before we take action.
Yeah, or just, and that hurt, I'm a millennial.
Yeah, right.
Emotionally hurt counts.
But that's the thing. Like, you don't get a second chance. I'm going to wait for you to actually hurt my kid before I take action if you screwed up. When my daughter was in fourth grade, she was in fourth grade, and her bus got lost with her in it, and several kids. And she's autistic, and she's in special ed. So everybody on the bus, was in special ed. This bus was missing for 2 hours. And I remember we were screaming at the bus, at the school. And it turned out, and then we got even really mad at the school because all the administrators, they all went home. They went home this was, taking them home at the end of the day. They didn't stick around to find out what the outcome was. They actually went home. So the next day, I'm screaming at the superintendent. I'll never forget. I was screaming at this man. I was like, how dare you leave when our kids were missing for 2 hours? So I said to him, I want an investigation. I want to know what was going on. I want to make sure my kid was okay. And he kept saying, he had his reasons for not, for shooting it all down. They're all safe and it was just a mistake. No. And I just remember him saying, finally, I was on the phone with him for a long time, and he finally said to me, I don't know what you want me to do. I was like, and I may have even said, "You motherfucker." I said, at the very least, that driver should have been drug tested. You know, like I found
it's not. It's obvious stuff. It's just do your job,
right.
and especially when you get into like government positions, anything with like tenure or just like I don't know, man. There's just it's the whole old thing is fucking corruption and just cushy jobs.
Well, yes, but
bullshit.
But the actual person, this grandmother forgot about her kid. This bus driver that was, who knows where he was with my kid. Like you, and then that was the thing too. I don't ever want this driver driving our kids again. You don't.
Yeah.
Wasn't it could have been just stupidity. He maybe, for whatever reason, he wasn't calling in dispatch to find out where he had to go. I mean, but still, for 2 hours, though, that's a long freaking time. We had, there were a bunch of us circling the neighborhood, just all of us trying to find our kids. We're talking to each other. Anybody see this? Anybody try this? Anybody contact? Doing all this craziness. Why would I let you have another shot at my kid?
What ended up being the excuse?
To this day, we never. I mean, my daughter, she was in 4th grade, so she was probably around 10. She's going to be 25 in March. So it's 15 years ago. I still, to this day, never got a reason.
The bus driver never just had to make a statement
no.
This is...
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. I had one mother, I'll never forget it. It was one of the best things. And I was not a fan of the superintendent as it was. So, yeah, we were screaming at him. And one mother, she totally cleared his desk. She was screaming. She just... pushed everything. Oh, it was beautiful.
I don't know, man. I have a lot of like stories about. There's something about the education system that's so monumentally fucked.
Yeah.
Where I either feel like it's a very like binary issue. There's either the teachers are like not respected and not paid enough, and not getting the resource allocation that they need.
They're beaten down.
Or it's the exact opposite, and they are overpaid, over-entitled pieces of shit that think they are inherently heroes even when they're being terrible people and terrible teachers and terrible role models. And then they go home to their like $3 million houses and they do Quaaludes. They still got them. I don't know. No, and like the one story I have that I don't know why my brain is going to the story from what we're talking about, but it was like 7th grade, a field trip to the beach that involved walking for like, I don't know, like I want to say it was like 5 or 10 miles.
What?
Along the beach. So we could be like, oh, that's a rock. That's a shell. And it was like one of the few times that I wanted to get out of something. Being a fat kid, I don't want to walk on the beach for 10 miles. It's like walking on regular ground for like 50 miles. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Yeah.
And like my parents were on my side. I explained to them the field trip and why I didn't want to do it. And they were like, yeah, it's lame. It costs us extra money. And so they went out of there with they did not sign the permission slip. They said all of these things are inherently supposed to be optional. So fuck it. We'll let you do whatever, hang out at the school all day, do whatever they have you do. Just, we won't have you go on this field trip. And this piece of shit teacher that everyone hated. I mean, I'm like tempted to name drop. That's how much everybody hated this bitch. But you know what? Also, she had kids in the school district.
Oh, wow.
And they were objective pieces of trash. Like, really, really, really jerky. Kramer. And that'll bite me in the ass at some point.
Yeah, it's a popular name.
But yes, thank God. But, like, forced me to go on this trip without the permission slip signed because it inconvenienced her in some way that we still don't know about, even though like to the point where like she was personally offended and was like, no, you're going on this trip. And I'm like, I didn't pack for the beach. And then they still made me go.
She was a teacher.
Yeah, and I guess like she was in charge of organizing this field
trip.
Oh,
okay, that was my next question. How did
Perhaps,
this teacher
probably.
Yeah. So you should have walked on the beach for a while and be like, and fallen down without the permission slip signed. That's an insurance risk.
Yeah, no, it was wrong for a variety of reasons. Like, what if there was a legitimate reason that my parents didn't want me to go? Like, what if my bullshit religion was like, we hate the beach? Like, then they might have respected it.
Yeah, true.
But
wow.
Yeah, there's that one, and then my other favorite one is, as you know, I was a student of the music for the longest time in my life.
Yes.
And it was
of the music.
I don't know, I fucking word. What are
Nah,
words?
it's cool. It's funny.
Senior year of high school, field trip to the city to sing at this place, this concert, and I was like the only senior that gave a fuck about this, and I was helping teach the underclassmen these different songs that was like a very specific show.
Okay.
And the teacher, I go to the teacher and I say, the head choir lady, I was like, I've been looking forward to this for months. I was starting to come down with like a nasty stomach bug. It was like spraying out of both ends. It was awful. And luckily, like, it happened at least midday, so I wouldn't be trapped on this bus and trapped in this green room, and then like, because it was like a late concert too. And she gives me this like dressing down, like, you know, you're such a flake. You're the only senior on this. Like, you know, XYZ. These are reasons we need you. And I was like, hey, if I could make up spraying this hot acid out of my asshole to not do something that I very obviously want to be a part of. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, especially out here in Long Island, this neck of the woods, like, even teachers I like, have this holier than thou persona because we're doing it for the children. You're doing it for your own fucking ego. Like, I have this conversation with a lot of people. 5% of teachers are those cool people that just are able to get what's going on with kids and just be able to relate in a way that some adults don't relate to kids, and they make that difference in your life. And those 5% of teachers, like, I'm very thankful for it, and we got to figure out how to make that more so who's teaching our kids, because those are people that, like, care, and they have empathy, and they want your kids to grow up and be cool. And I feel like there's some, maybe it's like what we do pay teachers out here, because, like, we do pay teachers well out here, as far as I know.
Yes.
And maybe just because of the pay, it attracts people that, like, you know, want to be like an absentee teacher. But it's like such a bad job to do that. Like, you gotta really care and put in the effort. Actually, the guy that got me into stand-up comedy, shout out to Tim Heinz, is not a comedian, did not end up going into entertainment, and he is a teacher. And he is like one of those teachers. Like, just from talking to him about how much, like, he loves his class and what he does for his kids. Like,
what kind of teacher is he, or was he?
I think he's elementary school.
Okay.
So it's like, you know,
yeah,
variety of things. But shout out to him, because, like, I just talking to him about how he feels about the job. Like, you could tell he's one of those kids that all those kids are going to remember.
You really think it's only 5%?
I really do. At least out here, it's like almost like the exception to the shit rule.
Well, I mean, I could definitely say when I went to school, it was definitely, at least from my experience, it was higher. Mm-hmm. For my kids, I mean, my daughter is just a little younger than you. She'll be 25 in March. My son will be 23 this coming November. Definitely had some strange teachers, my own experience and theirs, but I'll tell you, for my daughter especially in the special needs world, I'm gonna go as high as 80-something% of these people, whether aides or therapists, teachers.
Your daughter has AIDS? I'm so sorry.
They were fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better experience for her.
I'm glad. That's good.
No, of course, but and thank you, but so I'm just shocked that you're saying. And you went where? Northport District?
Yeah,
I don't know if there is.
Yeah.
Is that what it's? All right. I didn't know if that's what it was called.
It's got like some long bullshit name that nobody cares about. Like I think it's like Northport Union Free or Union Full. Right. It's Northport. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have like there are definitely kids that had like a worse time than me. I'm just talking about shit, like teachers being shitty people.
Oh, sure.
Which it didn't always like reflect in the actual education. Sometimes it was just like, you know, just like your desire to be in a room with like this person that's being a dick.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like having an abusive parent. You know, luckily
absolutely.
you gotta like, get out of it within like a year. But actually, no, I had one teacher, she was my Spanish teacher. So, all right, well, let's keep throwing Northport District under the bus. So, in middle school, I was an exceptional. Actually, that's not true. I was a pretty good Spanish student.
Okay.
Where my average was, I want to say like 89, which is fine for middle school Spanish.
Absolutely.
Like, not enough to be put in the slow class for Spanish.
Okay.
But too many kids were good enough at Spanish that when I went into high school, they put me in slow Spanish because they just didn't have the room in regular Spanish.
See, but that would have thrilled me.
I had to do an extra year of Spanish.
Oh, that would have pissed me off.
It sucked.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
That would piss me off.
And they put me with this teacher who was from Argentina, which works when it's advanced language.
Right.
Immerse yourself in the language with somebody that's not talking English to you. That was not us. we needed the like thoughtful transition from Spanish to English. And I mean, this lady was a monster. Just like the mood swings, the just bullshit assignments, bullshit field trips, which in the moment were fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know Mango's in Hicksville?
Yes.
We went to Mango's for no reason other than to just waste the school district and our parents' money.
I'm all right with that.
I mean, like, look, I was okay with it in the moment. That didn't do anything for my ability to learn Spanish.
It's just anything to get out of school.
No, I get it, but like, you get what I'm saying. In hindsight, I'm looking at it, I'm just like, this was questionable as fuck. But then my favorite story to tell is she was cool with us using at the time it was the iPod, using iPods to listen to music in class.
Oh wow.
Then like through a complicated series of changes with the school rules, with her rules, whatever, one of the kids was listening to his iPod at his desk in full view. He wasn't trying to hide it because it was a previously allowed thing. So I think like she walks over when like the head of the language department was peeking in the room, and she walks over to this kid's desk and she's like, "What is this? What is this? What?" And she's like literally doing these gestures, and then accidentally throws his iPod across the class, completely like spiderweb shatters the glass. Runs over to it, picks it up, and without skipping a beat goes, "He was already like this."
Really?
And she lost. She won the like case that I don't know like the formal word that they use, but like he brought it to the like I guess principal or superintendent, and it was like she said we could use these, and then flip flopped, and instead of just asking me to put away, threw it across the room like a crazy woman. And it was all like he said, she said, and they didn't bring in any of the students or the teacher's assistant in the room who would have sided with the kid.
Really?
She was cool.
Oh, okay.
Actually ended up being my parents' like apartment tenant for their downstairs apartment. So that was funny when she first moved in. We're like, let's shit talk this fucking teacher because like now it's like appropriate to do.
And
so.
she was into it.
Oh yeah, she's like,
that's
fuck
cool.
that bitch. And then here's the thing: I tried to get that lady fired. I got a petition going, and I was just like, we're not learning, and she's a bitch. Bad combo, right?
Yeah, right.
And I got a very weird mafioso style like dressing down from the head of the language department.
Oh, really?
Where she was just like, "We don't do that here."
Oh, goodness.
And it's like, what like my parents' taxes are paying for
family.
this.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Well, you're protecting her because we're all, this is what we do. We protect our own. What are you, cops?
Right.
Like, like if there's bad ones, get them out. I don't get what this bullshit is. Teachers, cops, anything. If there's bad apples, fucking pull the weeds.
There was a teacher in my son's district, the district my son went to, a shop teacher.
Mm-hmm.
My son. Again, I have my daughter who's on the spectrum. My son was ADHD. Well, is, but
Represent.
But yeah, as you get older, the characteristics become less noticeable. But when you're a kid,
it must be nice for those people.
Yeah,
well, I didn't grow out of that.
Well, no, I bet you have. Were you a hyper kid?
Yeah.
Right, and you're not hyper now, or do you think you are?
It depends, man. Like there are some situations where like I can't not fidget.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it like I'm definitely like being an adult makes it easier to deal with in some ways, but in other ways like compulsion's a son of a bitch.
Agreed 100%. But when you were a young kid, you
didn't
fidget, you were jumping off the chair, bouncing off the walls. And so my son was like that, and it created a stigma. He didn't have a lot of friends in school, and he definitely wasn't in with the cool kids. So he was in a shop class with him. It was him and another kid that was so my son was in, not the special ed classes, but where they kind of mix it up. You take, where they need a little extra help, but not completely,
Sure.
But the kids, as they got older, they were a little ousted. The typical kids were not always so welcoming. So he's sitting in the back of the room with this other kid that was in a lot of the inclusion class that my son was in. They became friends because they were in all these classes together. They both needed a little extra help. And I don't know what sparked it, but this shop teacher, he started picking on the two of them. Like like in the middle of class, like they were his targets.
He was throwing saw blades like frisbees. It was like,
Exactly.
catch it with your teeth.
But and I swear to you, this is a true story. He actually accused them in the middle of class of being gay lovers, and had the rest of the class chanting "gay, gay, gay" at my son and this kid. I swear to you, this is true. I flipped. I went on Facebook. I mentioned this teacher by name, and I said, "How dare you?" And I kind of briefly wrote what he did. I said, "How dare you do something like this to my son or to anybody?" I said, if you don't know who I am, you know who I am now. I said, I'm coming to see you.
Did you knock him dead?
No.
Damn.
No, I got a phone call 6:30 in the morning from the superintendent. This was now a different superintendent.
Oh, how polite to fucking call at 6:30.
Yes.
All right, that hurt my soul.
But I love this superintendent. So she called me up, and I had a good relationship with her. I was very involved in the school at the time. She calls me up. She goes, "Tony, what are you doing?" Just like that. I go, and it was 6:30 in the morning. I got up, I think, literally 5 minutes before that. So I'm like, "What? What are we talking about?" She goes, "You threatened this teacher on social media." I said, "I did not threaten anybody." I said, "I'm just coming in to see him." "Oh, no, you're insinuating." I said, "No." I said, "I'm coming in to see him." She goes, If you show up, we'll be." She goes, "I have no choice but to call the police if you show up." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." So
I mean, that's what happens when you post a picture where you're holding your leg and just doing like this.
Right. And pointing, saying his name. So because I had a good relationship with this lady, and I said, "All right, fine, I won't come in." I said, "But I am assuming you're going to do the right thing and help me out with this." She said, "Absolutely, we're going to do a full investigation." And of course, I found out like a day or two later, this is not the so they suspended. They didn't suspend this teacher. But they pulled him out of the classroom, and he was working in the office.
Okay.
So he's still getting paid. But then I found out a day or two later that this is not the first time he's been pulled out of the classroom. In fact, he has been suspended without pay in the past. So I brought that to her attention. I said, I found this out, and I found some other things out. He was not a popular teacher, not a well-liked man. I brought up some other things that I had heard about. And I said, I really think you guys, have to do what you have to do on this one. And sure enough, he never returned to the classroom, and they announced it towards the beginning of the following school year that he had been
shot,
retired
by someone.
Right. He is not buried at Gilgo. But yeah,
that whore.
But I actually felt like I think I kind of indirectly got this guy retired. He had like 31 to 32 years in anyway.
Oh, he was done. He was calling the kids gay. He's done.
I had that.
Crazy.
I went to the same high school, the same school district as my mother.
Okay.
And my brother, of course. Now my brother, he's older, and he was always the nice one, and I wasn't always. So not only did I get, I'm sure a lot of kids get it. Why can't you be more like your brother? Your brother was always, or your sister, they were so nice.
Dude, yeah.
I got that all the time. Teachers were so excited to see another Walker because, Frank was so nice, but they're like, but not only did I get that, but I can't tell you how many teachers I had that my mother had. And there's 25 years between us. These teachers, and some of these teachers were like, some of them should have been retired. Some of them were they were done. I had one teacher that my mother knew. He used to lay on the floor and go to sleep in the middle of class.
I respect it.
I had another teacher, a science teacher. This guy taught us nothing the whole year. I take that back. Maybe the whole school year we could probably add it all up to maybe 1 week of science in the whole. And I've told this story before on here. As finals were coming up, as for the last 2 weeks of class before finals, he was giving us what he said was an old final from 1976, and he said we're just going to use this as our practice, and we're going to go through these questions together one by one. So for the last 2 weeks of classes, we just did like 5 questions, 10 questions a day, whatever it was. The day comes where we take the final, it was the same exact test. I'm telling you, the whole class, we all get the paper, and you can see all of us are like looking ahead, looking at all the papers, and you see all of us are just kind of looking at each other. And I mean, and we all passed with flying colors. It was fantastic. But no, I can happily say that I had a ton of great teachers. Some of them I still talk to today.
I had some great teachers.
Yeah, but it outweighed the shitty.
I'm glad for you. Definitely not for me. Definitely not.
Well, I'm sorry for you. And surprised though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like there's a lot of factors at play, but I think it just seems too much like a very we look out for our own style club once you're in. So it's like, did your ADHD did that factor into why you think or why you feel that it didn't go well? Or I mean, like, I'm not. It's definitely all intertwined, but I don't think it made these teachers shitty. I think it gave my like elementary school and like early middle school teachers more of a hard time because it was like I was less able to like kind of control my shit.
That's exactly what I'm asking, because I do feel like I said, my daughter had a great experience. My son, however, I feel he had a lot of teachers that didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, but I feel like at least in my case, it kind of wasn't the case in like high school because there was something more like engaging about the work in high school. My issue in high school was I just didn't do any homework. Mm-hmm. But like in class, for the like majority of it, it was like interesting and engaging enough to just pay attention and learn the shit, to not just be like just bouncing around and fidgeting or doing other things. But yeah, like I don't think so. I think a lot of my experience that I'm talking about is more late middle school and through high school, where it's just like I'm able to really perceive teachers that really give a shit and the ones that don't. Whereas, like, I'm sure if I wade through some memories, I could make those distinctions for my elementary school experience. But at the same time, I'm also fucking like 10,
right?
So it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I do think as you're getting older into high school, between maturity, and you're slowly getting into taking the types of classes that you're interested in, the teachers probably treat the students with a little more respect instead of treating them like little kids. So yeah, it does get better.
Although I will say it does, but what I do hate, and like I don't know, maybe if you're like a preschool teacher or a kindergarten teacher, I get it, but I hate the lane of teacher that, oh my God, hi, Tony, how are you today? And it's like, lady, I'm 29 now. You could talk to me like you didn't meet me when I was in first grade. I don't know, and there's some good people that do that. I don't think they're watching this. But if they are, you know who you are.
But it's funny you say that, because I still, like, there's one teacher I keep in touch with. I can't call her by her first name.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I just can't. I've tried, and she's even said to me, "You got to start doing that." There are other teachers who I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one particular, I just got a text. Hey, Amanda, I will be at the airport at 12 p.m. Will you pick me up?
Damn, that ain't it.
Yeah,
that ain't you.
But anyway, yeah. So so I think it does work a little both ways. That the teachers will act that way, but I think some of us act the same way, especially now on Facebook. Maybe it's different for us because we didn't grow up with Facebook, like you probably did. But because to see our teachers now, prior to Facebook, most of us didn't see these teachers. So then to see them on Facebook as real human beings, it was a little weird for us.
I don't know. I guess I think I had an interesting situation because my mom started working at my former elementary school after I'd gotten out of there.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like bumping into, and usually it was only positive experiences. It was the teachers I really liked. I happened to bump into. So that was kind of cool. But then I don't know. I think I could say the same thing for like social media. I only go out of my way to interact with the teachers that I had a good experience with. So if anything, it's just like kind of just keeping those good times rolling. Like that Spanish teacher. I got no idea what the fuck she's up to.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it's not ruining kids' ability to learn a second language anymore, and like breaking their devices.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's quite the story. That's crazy. I once had a teacher, and of course no names or anything, but I once had a teacher say to me, well, first off, I don't remember why, but we were in class and we were trying to guess her age.
That's a good time. That's always a good time.
And I was a junior. I was in 11th grade. I don't know why we were doing this, but we were. And it was my turn, and I said 40, and this woman was 24.
Yo, out here slinging shade.
I was an idiot.
Good thing it's sunny out.
but then the same conversation. So then she was floored, and that's when she actually said, "I'm 24." Sorry.
Yeah, maybe don't do your hair like that, Judy. God.
But we got from there. We got to talking. I was apologizing, and somebody said something about that we're not really that far in age. It was probably 17, give or take, and she was she's nearly not that far in age. Well, that's what happened. The teacher actually said right in the middle of the class, she goes, "Oh, I would date you," and I remember sitting there thinking, even at that age, thinking this is a little inappropriate. And then she said, when after a few years after you graduate, you should come back and ask me out.
That's fucking weird.
I don't know if that's. To this day, I don't know.
Groomed, dude.
Yeah, right.
Hardcore grooming.
I don't know if there was like some kind of weird joke there that I missed. Like I just didn't get what that was.
Did you blink when she flashed her titties at the class? Damn.
Wow, I had another going in the other direction. I remember I had a biology teacher. This nice man. I liked him a lot as a nice man, but he was just a terrible teacher.
Yeah.
He was boring as can be. Gave like pop-up quizzes like every other day. This guy was not a good teacher, but I liked him. And he was also my homeroom teacher. So I did develop a good relationship with this guy. And I found myself like in science class, whenever like the class would start to fight back, they would yell in the middle of class, "Oh, this is ridiculous! We're not doing it! We're not doing it!" Or I asked you to repeat this and you won't do it. I became like almost like the shop steward, like the class representative. Like after class, he would keep me after class to discuss whatever situation just happened in class, even if I had nothing to do with it. Or if I was there for homeroom the next day, he would say, "Yesterday in class when this happened, can you tell me?" Like. So we had this relationship. So at the end of the school year, so our class didn't like this guy at all. At the end of the school year, this one kid wrote him a letter. And I remember seeing the kid as class was starting. I actually just happened to see him place an envelope on the desk. Didn't think anything of it. After class, the teacher asked me to stay after. He showed me the letter. Today, this kid would be arrested. He'd be, going through all sorts of psychiatric evaluations. Ew. This kid wrote, it was a 2-page letter on all the reasons why he hated this teacher with a passion.
Okay.
Can't stand him. He's an awful person. One of these days, you better watch out. He went on and on. I was like, even back then, I'm like, holy shit.
That's a little intense.
But, but that was it. We put I don't know what he did with the letter. I don't know if he kept it, throw it out, what. But he didn't take any action. You just didn't do that back then. Now, like I said, nowadays it probably even would have made the news. It was that bad of a letter. It was. It's weird. You got me thinking now. There's a lot of weird experiences in high school. The same teacher, when it was time to take the Regents, he came to me the day before. Well, again, homeroom. It was like a day or two before the Regents, and he goes, Comes up to me in homeroom and goes, stay after. Homeroom, I need to talk to you.
We gotta fuck in the closet.
Well, that was the thing. So it's just me and him in the classroom, and he goes, and I sucked at biology.
Strip.
Well, right. So he goes, you've been trying hard all year at biology. I said, and I did. I tried. I just sucked at it, and I was always like on the border of passing and failing. He goes, you struggled all year, and I go, yeah, I did. He goes, but I felt that you tried. I said, and I was honest. I said, yeah, most of the time I did. He goes, you goofed off. I said, yeah, of course I goofed off a little bit. I was, clown. He goes, but I felt you worked. He goes, for the most part, you tried. I said, yeah, I think I did. He goes, don't take the Regents. I go, what do you mean don't take the Regents? He goes, don't show up. And I did. At that point, I'm thinking to myself, he's going to ask me to blow him. He's going to ask me to blow him. So I said to him, I go, what do you want? And he said, I don't want anything. He says, he goes, I'm going to give you, I'm just going to put a P that you passed. He goes, you're not even going to get a grade. You're just going to get a P. I'm like, okay.
Oh, we got a P, all right.
Yeah. Really, all those things went through my head. Like, what? And he never, ever requested anything of me. I get my report card. It for the Regents, it said NR.
Sounds like a sweet deal.
Yeah. To this day, I have no idea what an NR is. And I did. I got my Regents diploma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many, this is before cell phones. I can't tell you how many times my home phone rang that day from friends at school. We were there at the test, man. Where were you? Everybody was asking, oh, my God, can't believe you skipped it. You're going to fail. Like, no. No. I have no idea what that was about.
That's pretty cool. One of my favorite experiences was senior year. Northport has this class that you can take instead of history called Urban Studies, where you learn about mostly the history of New York City.
Oh, I would have loved that.
And then, it gets better. Monthly trips into the city.
I love New York City, even now.
Pretty cool. I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it was cool. It was a cool class. It was
I would love that.
But I just remember at least twice in this class, and look, it was fun, but it was still the history class I took senior year. Our class very quickly knew how cool our urban studies teacher was. Just to the tune of he was a great teacher. He cared about us as people, and we would exploit the shit out of that. He would start passing out a test, and he was a very anti-test teacher, and he would start passing them out, and we would just all kind of look at each other and be like, come on, man, we really got to take a test today? Is this the day that you want us to have? And then he would take the test back, and then we would watch a video. He'd be like, he's like, this is not
fantastic.
This ain't doing nothing for you kids. They make me do this shit. I think you're learning. We're learning by talking about things and the world and life. And it was especially the unit didn't start with the founding of New York City. That was a few months into the year. Starts with 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Very heavy stuff to be going over in September.
Wow.
But so it was heavy subject matter and real philosophical talks. And then it would be all right, well, who was the Danish guy that did Manhattan originally? And then he would be like, nobody gives a fuck. And it was cool. It was very Dead Poet Society bullshit.
But that's the problem I feel today. There's so much pressure on the teachers to get X amount of stuff done that you don't have a lot of time for that kind of atmosphere anymore.
Well, that was the big problem with the pre-calc class at Northport. And I'm sure everywhere it has this issue to some extent, especially in New York with a very specific regimen. There was the pace of that class. That was the only class that I needed a tutor for, an outside of class. Sure. And I'm not not tutor. I'm not tooting my own horn. But I don't know. I'm not a smart person in a lot of ways, but I am a smart person in that when I'm taking a class, I'm very good at absorbing the information in the class. I don't need to read the textbook and go over stuff unless the teacher's skipping that shit, which is more like college, I guess. But if the teacher's going over stuff in class, I will get it. And the pace of Algebra 2 Trig, the pre-calc, was just and even the teacher admitted it. She's like, we can't stop. I can't answer all your questions.
Right.
We're not going to be able to go over this multiple times because the amount that I have. And it was cool that she leveled with us about that. It wasn't just her being a cunt. She was cool, but like she was basically like, if you want to pass this Regents and get your advanced Regents diploma, like you're gonna have to do about the same amount of work we do in class outside of class.
Oh.
And it was pretty rough.
That would make me nuts. One of the best days of my life was after I was a sophomore, about to be a junior, and I found out that I filled all my math requirements, and I didn't have to take any more math.
Nice.
Actually, math and science. I didn't take any math or science after 10th grade. Life was good.
That's pretty cool. I did I did no lunch for my first 3 years of high school. I just went straight through the day, no break.
Yeah, see, I'm against that.
But then my senior year, I had like 4 periods off.
Oh, okay.
It was sick.
Nice.
I think I had first off for most of the year.
Nice.
I had last off for most of the year. So I'd like go home, take a nap, then go to bowling practice.
I too had like 4 periods off in my senior year, but it was I actually had classes. I just didn't go most of the time. My senior year, I skipped so many classes. I just enjoyed myself. I just showed up. I did. You did the morning announcements in school.
Oh yeah.
I was the guy.
Man, I have beef with the guy who did.
Why?
Because he monopolized it for 3 years.
Oh no, I only did it my senior year.
That's how it should be. They should like
it should be a senior.
Yeah, and like you know what I mean. Like let me guest host.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a good credit coming out of high school, being like I did the announcements, I did public speaking.
But it worked out beautifully because there were days I would just skip it because I would go there instead of homeroom. And my homeroom teacher would always, the rule was supposed to be.
That's pretty sweet.
It was supposed to be, you do the morning announcements, then get to homeroom. That was what I was supposed to be doing. But my homeroom teacher said to me, look, just, if I hear your voice, I know you're here. Don't worry about getting here. I was like, great. So that was my scam. If I wanted teachers to think I was absent, I just wouldn't do the announcements. And then I would go to the classes I wanted to go to. And those teachers would be like, oh, I thought you were absent today. And I said, no, I was just late getting to school. I'm like, oh, okay. So I would pick and choose what classes I wanted to go to.
Nice.
And I don't know why. I mean, I didn't do it like, I wasn't in double digits, but it was kind of often. But nobody called home to say, your son's been absent a lot. Like, it just didn't happen.
Oh, that happened to me a ton. I think I barely made the required amount of days to graduate.
Really?
I hated school, man.
Wow.
I really did. There were parts about it that I did not hate, but by and large, it's a broken, antiquated system.
Well, yeah.
It's a very one-size-fits-all
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'll give you that. Fremder, I could tell my math teacher was always constipated by the way he worked it out with a pencil.
Oh, I thought of a pretty bad Fremda-esque joke.
Oh.
What do my senior year and most birth controls have in common? 4 periods off, baby.
Yeah, that's Fremder.
That's not bad. You know what I mean?
I would actually say that Fremder told me that joke. I would actually say.
Don't dig too deep, man. We're friends.
Fremder, my French teacher got fired for showing everyone his wee-wee. I had a hard time in health class because my teacher was hot, and luckily for me, she graded on a curve. Sometimes my teacher asked why I was late for class. I replied because the bell rang before I got here.
I'm not gonna lie. I hate to any Northport High School or district health teachers watching this. I'm sorry to throw you on under the bus. Every teacher that taught me about sex was a fucking dog.
Really?
Thank God. Can you imagine like a hot lady being like, and then you stick it in the pussy, and it's like, whoa.
I don't know if it's an age thing, like because when I went to school, yeah, any teacher over 30 was, we didn't even look at them. Or
yeah.
I don't know if maybe they were pretty and we just didn't notice them. I don't recall having a lot of, there were some hot teachers, but not too many. But when my kids were in school, it was like that's all there was.
Yeah.
And I used to talk about it with other parents. Like, is it me? Or it's like everybody walking these halls are hot. And he's like, no, there's a lot of hot teachers here. And I once did a murder mystery at a restaurant in Massapequa and my kids went to Wanto, which is just, very close to Massapequa. I was doing a murder mystery, and there were a table of teachers from my daughter's elementary school. Pretty much all of them were hot. All of them were drunk. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, there's like a weird childhood fantasy thing going on here. Like, if I can grab these drunk women after the show, like, because you don't think of teachers as human, So it was weird for me to see them all drunk and loud, and and they were so drunk.
Oh my God, we're heroes!
yeah, exactly. But they were so drunk that they didn't even realize it was me until 3/4 through the show, because I knew all these people.
Yeah.
None of them, and I didn't have a mask on or anything. It was just me, and they didn't even realize that's how drunk they were. And it was so weird. But yeah, a lot of hot teachers now. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was always that way, and as I'm getting older, I just see them. I don't know.
I'm very in favor of people wearing what they want to wear, and
you're in favor of hot teachers.
So no, surprisingly not. I'm in favor of that's the one vocation where I'm if you're kind of attractive, chill the fuck out on either male or female.
Make yourself less attractive?
No, if you're a ripped, handsome guy, wear long sleeves. If you're a hot lady teacher, don't have the boobs be hanging out. I just feel you're literally creating fetishes without necessarily doing anything.
Well, wait a minute. Let me stop you. Did you have teachers that had their boobs hanging out? I didn't.
Man, I guess I did have a better school experience than Tony. I guess I did. A little bit, because I think it's just more accepted regardless to, in professional settings, dress a little more either casually, which could go in a few directions, but sometimes, that goes into just wearing stuff you might not associate with wearing at a school, which could even just be a relatively low-cut top. But when you're amongst horny 13-year-olds, it's just, I'm not even
But it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much for a horny 13-year-old.
No, you're right, but then think about what the teacher in A Christmas Story wore. It was a full up to the neck dress that made her look like she was 80. She was probably only 30, maybe 40. And you look at her and you're like, "Ugh, gross." But then, I don't know. I feel like you almost should look at your teachers and be like, "Ugh."
So there should be some kind of dress code for teachers. But if you're a newscaster, you should make sure you're hot, because all newscasters are hot.
We should be doing this show in the nude. We're not newscasters, but we're going to make the leap to different vocations.
But then I have to get other people in here.
Yeah, it'd get pretty...
Pretty women. I have to get pretty women in here.
Yeah.
Andy Pagano, it's funny how you thought not wearing a mask, you had a chance to get laid. That took me a second, but yes, you're right, Andy.
I'm not there. What was he talking about?
How I mentioned all these drunk teachers that I knew, and it's not like I was wearing a mask.
Oh yeah, post-COVID.
So yeah, he's thinking you'd.
Man, I still see people driving alone in their cars with masks on.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I've never been more tempted to incite vehicular manslaughter.
Well, Fat Jay has a bit about that on in his act. Yeah.
I gotta see him.
Oh, Fat Jay is fantastic. Fremder, a lot of these great teachers have contributed to my education as well as my stiff sock drawer. So anyway, yes, this stupid lady left her grandkid in the car.
Yeah, what the fuck? What are we doing with that lady? Is she going to jail?
I think
is she already being tortured enough by her own?
But that's the question. Does she deserve torture? It was. Or, unless it turns out she did it on purpose. But if you make a really stupid, and believe me, I agree 100%. This is as stupid as you can get. But do you deserve a punishment like that?
She deserves a year in a white collar prison. I think you ruined a human life.
Police are still investigating.
And it's do you deserve to go to the... I don't know. Our prison system is janky and awful and terrible to begin with. But like, do I think she should go like do hard time in like a terrible, gross, awful prison? Like, probably not. She's she's like a middle-aged lady, but like, should she have her freedoms taken away from her as a penance for maybe?
Really?
I don't know. That's
I don't know. I don't know
like,
either.
So it's that's.
I mean, it's her own. It's her own granddaughter. She's going to be living. Her life is going to be hell for the rest of her life, no matter where she is.
Yeah, it's going to take
sitting
a lot
in
of
her
therapy.
home. Yeah, absolutely. Therapy. I don't even know if I would bother with therapy, because I can't imagine any amount of therapy is going to take that pain away.
No, but
or allow me to live some kind of a normal life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. And again, if it turns out she did it on purpose, that's a completely different story. But as of right now, it doesn't appear to be the case.
I tell you what, this lady's going to be Ubering for the rest of her life.
As she should be.
How could you drive a car after that? And then every time you're like looking back to check your blind spot, you have like flashbacks.
And how do you? And that's what I was saying before. I mean, how do you even forget that? How do you forget your grandkid is back there? I can't even imagine what that must be like. It's so weird.
Is this us or is this for tomorrow?
Actually, that's for any time. If you want to play that,
let's have a game. Let's play a game.
All right. I was just looking. I thought I had another story of somebody leaving a kid in the car.
Our next segment on Knockem Dead Thursday is who has the longer penis. Pull up some porn, Tony.
All right. Well, there's.
I'd say I stumped you, but I don't want to be inconsiderate.
Stumped me. A Florida babysitter a week or so ago, accused of manslaughter after the 10-month-old in her care died after having been left in a hot car.
Oh, my God.
This person's only 48. Picked up the infant from her mother's home at 8 a.m. to babysit. When the mom returned at 1 p.m., she realized the baby had been left inside the vehicle. Temperatures were in the area were 97 degrees.
Ugh.
Temperature inside the car were recorded at 133 degrees. Yeah. Idiots.
I mean, I've been to Washington, D.C. in the summer, and if that is that intolerable, you imagine a car.
Yeah, I've been to Washington, D.C. and I've been to Disney in August.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well, it's the best, though, because they're all going to school down there. So there's no lines. But, yeah, it was hot as balls.
Yeah.
Still worth it.
Hotter than balls. Balls only really reach 93 degrees. I don't know if you knew that. I remembered that from health class because my teacher wasn't hot.
Balls can't get any hotter than 93 degrees?
No, because then your troops start to die. So that's why when it's warmer, they sink. And when it's colder, I was in the pool. Everything shrinks up to get the body heat.
So you should heat your balls up before you have sex. It's like,
if the chick likes, or the gay guy, or whoever your balls are,
the receiver.
If they like a big hangy balls, yeah, fucking.
But you're saying
it's a temperature thing,
right? But I thought you said that it won't work. That like this. What did you say won't work if it's too hot?
The troops, the sperm guys,
right? So that's
they just die,
right? So that's safe sex. Heat the balls up and then have sex.
You heard it here first, folks.
See that?
Get those like hand warmers. They open the package and they get warm.
Stick your dick in the oven.
You know what's funny? We're yes, absolutely stick your dick in the oven. You know that there's like a ton of very safe male birth control that exists in the world, and we just like don't do it here in America because we'd rather overcharge the women for bad birth control.
Yeah.
So the one that I'm familiar with is I know it's like legal and totally doable in India, and it's like reversible too. No side effects, doesn't affect your like testosterone levels or anything.
Yeah.
And it's like an injection, and they do it like kind of right into your groin, and it like it does something very slight on the inside of your balls to make all the semen die, and then or sperm die, and then they just take it out if you want to start making babies again.
Wow.
But, yeah, right? And they just it's just like not cool here because it probably wouldn't. I feel like everybody would do it. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right?
There would be. You'd think they would allow it so the insurance
No.
From there, a lot of these great teachers have contributed. Oh, I read that already. Never leave a baby in a car unless the weather is nice, or you're running in or you're running in for Annie's pretzels, right?
How about just don't leave the kid in the car?
Right.
I guess he's joking, but
They should have a section in the road test called callback. Yep. Called backseat babies. From there, I wasn't aware that babies melt at 100 degrees. I'll keep that in mind. All right. So we got a few minutes. So we'll play. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while, but I keep these here to play this occasionally.
nice.
A little bit of Have You Ever.
Oh boy.
Have you ever, Brandon LaCarrubba, smoked weed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pop pills?
I don't think so, because like I've taken prescription stuff.
Doesn't count.
Okay, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no, then.
Went streaking?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Skinny dipped? Come on.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Been arrested?
No.
Gotten into a fist fight?
I've gotten so close, but no.
Wow.
I'm a diffuser, man.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Gotten drunk?
Yeah.
Wrecked a car?
No.
Egged someone's house?
No.
Played ding dong ditch?
Oh yeah.
Been suspended?
Yeah.
Been expelled?
No.
Pulled a fire alarm?
No.
TP'd someone's property?
Yes.
Stolen something?
Technically.
Gotten a ticket?
Yeah.
Drag raced?
No.
Gotten a felony?
No.
Graffitied something?
My own body? No.
Been kicked out of class?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Petted a wild animal?
Yes.
What kind?
No. I had to really think about that one. I was on mushrooms in the forest once, so I don't think I actually touched anything.
You were on mushrooms
In the forest. Can't recommend it enough.
Well, all right. Gotten lost at an amusement park or on vacation?
Oh, man, you got to define lost. Sure.
Been out in the rain and really enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Re-gifted something that you received as a gift?
Oh, yeah.
Had your cell phone ring in an embarrassing moment?
Yep.
Stayed in your pajamas all day long?
Oh, 3 days in a row, baby.
Held a butterfly or another insect in your hand?
No.
Lied to get something cheaper than it was?
Oh, yeah.
Talked your way out of getting in trouble?
Yep.
Been water skiing or snow skiing?
No.
Lied about your age?
No.
Have you ever been hit on by someone who was too old?
Yes.
Not talking about me. Worn special clothes to cover up a hickey?
No.
Spent the night sleeping by the toilet?
No.
Sunbathed partially or totally naked?
Yes.
Oh. Had sex with a person whose name you didn't know?
No.
Gone commando?
Oh, yeah. Just free balling where I come from.
Yeah, true. All right, I'll do a few more, and then we'll call it a day here. All right, this one might not pertain to you. Have you ever been embarrassed to pick up your pictures from the photo center because you remembered what was on them? You're showing your... Yeah, I can answer that one. You probably couldn't.
Yeah, I remember picking up pictures, but I was like a kid. So, like a little... Yeah, actually, you know what? Fuck it, yeah.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Been caught fooling around by a parent or a sibling?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, what? Happens.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But who caught you?
I think my mom. I was like first girlfriend in high school type shit, you know.
Were you just making out, or you were actually doing the deed?
I think I was touching boob.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the boobs were out, or you were inside the shirt?
I think those specifics are lost to time.
Oh.
I'd
So-
probably under the shirt.
So what did your mother say?
Nice.
Come on.
Nah, she got out of there pretty quick.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah.
She didn't say, get up.
No.
Wow.
She didn't want to see that.
Have you ever not been able to remember how you got somewhere?
Yeah.
Have you ever, well, this is a weird one, stuck your tongue out at the ATM camera?
So, not the ATM camera, but the self-checkout cameras. I fucked that up.
I hate those things. Yeah, and speaking of which I didn't even get to today, CVS is now announcing layoffs because of those stupid things.
Yeah.
Have you ever burped while kissing someone? I'll make that the last one. You have?
Hey, man. It's got to go somewhere.
And how did she react?
Well, I mean, she was a dead body, so brought her to life.
That's fantastic.
The sweet kiss of death.
All right, with that, it's time for us to go, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Treading Water, hopefully we'll be on at 1 o'clock live. If not, we'll just record it, and we'll get it out there 2:15, 2:30 the latest.
Yeah.
And that's it for today. We're back here tomorrow. Andy Pajanos, Benny Rizzuti, and Jen Snortland will be here. They're doing a show in the Giga Room next weekend. And speaking of which, don't forget Monroe Martin, Mike Keegan, Carla Okerson, Kathy Arnold, Rich Voss, Jay Black, just some of the names you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend. And don't forget, next weekend, Richie Byrne doing 2 nights at McGuire's. And of course, don't forget Knockem Dead Comedy. We got 2 shows at the Brokerage coming up. We got 2 shows at McGuire's coming up. And what was it, September 21st? The next Broken Mic?
Next Broken Mic, September 21st. You can catch me at Squarehead Brewery tomorrow night. Google that. That is Eastern Long Island. And then Tuesday the 8th, Huntington, New York, Huntington Haha at Industry. We got a great little lineup for you.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
And go to govs.com to make your reservations for some great comedy shows. There we go. Thank you, pal. And all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you later.
Lefty shake, son of a bitch.
I'm working.
Entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knockem Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers, private parties, corporate events,